We love you too, fans, and thanks for another great season. It's the final day of the 2014 season. The Orioles are in town, and the Blue Jays are trying to sweep away the Baltimore Orioles. Time now for a look at Buck Showalter's lineup today. Nick Markakis back in the lineup. He is the leadoff man. He's in right field this afternoon. Markakis, over his last 4 games, is swinging the bat well, 6 for 14 with a couple of home runs. And then Nelson Cruz, he's been tough on the Blue Jays throughout his career. His last 15 games are good. He's carrying a lot of momentum into the postseason. 7 extra base hits for Cruz.
34th start of the season for R.A. Dickey, and he's finishing strong. He hasn't lost in his last 7 starts, scoring 5-0. He looks for his 15th win of the season this afternoon. Will be his 2nd highest win total in a season since the 20 he won in 2012.
First pitch of the ball game is up and away to Nick Markakis, and we are underway. Markakis, we mentioned his hot streak, and he has really put up another good season. He's the leadoff man, sets the table. There's a liner to left field. Pompey is back. It's over his head and off the wall. Markakis is headed for second as he has a leadoff double to start the ball game. Pompey was a little bit shallow. Markakis drove it over his head to start the game with his 27th double.
Ball's carrying today as Dalton Pompey cannot come up with that one, and a good start. It didn't look like a knuckleball from Dickey. He might have challenged him with that fastball, which we have seen him do a little bit more often. And the Orioles get their leadoff batter on.
Pompey making his 7th start in left field. He is a natural center fielder. Alejandro De Aza, he's 3 for 5 against Dickey. R.A. Dickey will be tied for the league lead with 34 starts. Tillman, Kluber, Weaver, Shields, and now Dickey have all made 34 starts. R.A. has 209 2/3 innings, another 200-inning season for him, 4th straight. He is 10th in the American League in that department, looking to move up.
You know, that's something that at times gets overlooked, those starters that go out there day after day.
Ground ball is short. Markakis has to hold at second, and De Aza is thrown out. Well, take a look at the defense, and there have been some sparkling plays lately with Pompey and goes in the outfield. Bautista's had a terrific season, should be a Gold Glover in right. Kawasaki's at third, Reyes and Goins up the middle. Lynn continues to play at first base, and Josh Tolley will handle the knuckleball. R.A. Dickey.
Jose would certainly get our vote for the Gold Glove. He has been spectacular, I think, this season. Very consistent every day. He's in every game. 12 outfield assists and numerous heads-up plays in the outfield.
Adam Jones. He is not hit well against R.A. Dickey. He's got a 136 career average against the knuckleballer. Just 3 for 22. Overall, the Blue Jays have really pitched well against Jones this season. He comes into this game with a 214 average. He's just 15 for 70.
Guy over the last few years have hit a lot of home runs against the Blue Jays.
Jones, for his career, has 25 home runs against the Jays. A 277 career average against Toronto.
Home in yesterday's ball game to get them within 1 run.
0-2. You can see Jones really having trouble with that knuckleball, and that has been the case for him throughout his career. All those pitches are up and in. He had a high fastball off of Jay Happ yesterday with 2 outs and was 6. And for Jones, that was his 29th homer. That floater just missed outside.
Good job by Josh Tolley trying to sell it to the home plate umpire, Jeff Gosney. Watch this one. Back up. Josh pulls it back, and he just will not get the call.
Jones hits it to right. Bautista back into the corner, makes the catch. Markakis tags and moves up to third. R.A. Dickey is really finishing up the season on a high note. Over his last 6 starts, he's put up very impressive numbers.
His last loss was August the 13th at Seattle, and he didn't pitch poorly in that game. Just gave up 2 runs, and the Blue Jays lost that game 2-0. But look what he has done over his last 6. 4-0, an outstanding earned run average. He's beaten the likes of Milwaukee, Boston, Tampa, Seattle came back and beat them. And he's really buckling down when they've got runners in scoring position. Just a 161 average.
Well, here's a challenge for Josh Thole now. Markakis moves up 90 feet with 2 outs. Thole has to corral that knuckleball. Cruz goes after the first pitch. Bautista on the run, on the track, makes a catch. You highlight Bautista on defense, and he responds. Another fine defensive play in support of R.A. Dickey. Bautista, maybe his finest overall season with everything in consideration. Score of 4-2. Take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons. It's Reyes, Bautista, and then Edwin Encarnacion in the DH role today. 19 home runs here at Rogers Center. That leads the team overall. He's hit 34. And Adam Lind is right behind him. He has had a good run against Miguel Gonzalez. The Orioles started today. He's hit 500 against Gonzalez with a homer and an RBI.
That is the lineup that this afternoon's starter for the Baltimore Orioles will face. This is Miguel Gonzalez with his 26th start and 27th appearance of the season. He made his big league debut in 2012 right here at Rogers Center versus the Blue Jays. Miguel Gonzalez is only going through a few innings this afternoon. Buck Showalter has said he wants to keep that back end of the bullpen fresh. So Gonzalez, I look for him to go maybe 3 or 4 innings this afternoon and then turn it over to the bullpen. But he's had a very nice year, 9-9 with 333 earned run average.
Buck Showalter told us earlier he is going to use 5 relievers today. They will start their postseason run on Thursday, and he's got some relief pitchers that need to work. Gonzalez is set. Reyes is in the box, and here's the first pitch in there for a strike. 287 for Reyes on the season. Overall, it's been a good year. He had a 2 ribby day yesterday with a pair of hits. He was 2 for 3 in a sac fly. Reyes has had another good season, probably because he stayed healthy more than anything. The last several years he has dealt with injuries, but after the early stint on the DL, he has been fine, and this is extra bases. He's around first, headed for second. He'll get there as Markakis gets it back in. How about a leadoff double for the Blue Jays? The defense behind Miguel Gonzalez, they have been a little shaky in this series. They've committed 4 errors. Deaza, Jones, Markakis in the outfield, a couple of Gold Glovers in center and right. Flaherty is third, and that's a real concern at third base for the Orioles. Hardy and Scope, Pierce at first base, and Nick Hundley is behind the plate. But the defense has been a little shaky lately.
Yeah, a lot of the errors, though, are guys who really aren't going to, be a big part of the team. Casilla yesterday with an error. But the guy who hasn't been shaky this year is the right fielder, Nick Markakis, for the Baltimore Orioles. We were talking about Bautista. I think this is the stiffest competition right here for the Gold Glove right field in the American League. He's got 11 outfield assists, and Nick has not made an error this season.
Markakis is a Gold Glover. Bautista behind 0-1. High fly ball to right. Markakis battling the sun, and he's got his glove to shade his eyes. Reyes holds at second. Bright sunny day. You can see Markakis use that glove to shield his eyes, and Bautista flies out. Boy, this has been a spectacular weekend to wrap up the season. The weather has been perfect. Makes you want to play for another 2 or 3 weeks.
Absolutely. We were down on the field today, getting a chance to run around on the field, and you're right. There's something about days like today. Day game, bright sunshine, not too hot. I'm sure the way the Blue Jays have been playing, they like to be playing for a couple of more weeks also.
They went in Encarnacion, 2 RBI shy of 100.
Edwin has had his chances in this series. He's had some runners on while he has been up. He just has not been able to bring them around. He's got a couple of hits in this series with no RBIs.
It's jammed on that pitch inside. There are 9 players in the American League that have driven in 100. 3 in the National League. Encarnacion's trying to make it 3 straight seasons of driving in 100. Bautista has 103. He's currently tied for 7th in the American League. Mike Trout leads in that category with 111. Ball and a strike to Encarnacion. Gonzalez has given up 25 home runs, but 21 of them have been solo homers. And if you're going to give them up, that's how you want to give them up. Of the 62 he has allowed in the majors, 47 have been solo shots. Two Hopper to third. Flaherty takes his time. In time, 2 down. Gonzalez is like so many of the starters in this Orioles rotation. They're not really fancy, but they are effective.
Yeah, they just throw a lot of strikes. They don't blow you away with stuff, but they just continue to make pitches. There are his splits right there. The slider has been particularly good for him since the All-Star break. He has one of the lowest ERAs in the American League since the All-Star break at just 235. They're also hitting just 106 against that slider since the All-Star break. But you're right, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, throw strikes, make quality pitches, and they're going to end up with a lot of wins.
Adam Lind, we mentioned he is a 500 hitter against Gonzalez for his career. Lind is finishing up strong. It's a fly ball into shallow left. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, goes out and makes the catch. Both clubs get leadoff doubles and they can't cash them in. Each team stranding a base runner in the first. the Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and weekly chats. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. Blue Jays Rundown. Only on Sportsnet.ca. Then Shai Davidi's headline today. Half an unheralded blessing for the Jays this season. Certainly was, and he was a terrific, consistent pitcher over the course of the summer. He improved to 11-11 with the win yesterday. Now the Blue Jays have 5 pitchers with more than 10 wins. And that's the only team in the majors that can boast 5 starters with double-digit wins. 5 pitchers, for that matter. Blue Jays have only done it one other time in their history. That was in 1987. Steve Pearce up and in. 2-1 to Pearce. Pearce is back at first base today. R.A. Dickey looking for his 15th win and his 3rd win against the Orioles. He's not beaten them this year. He has made 2 other starts. This is his 3rd of the season. And Pearce takes a leadoff walk. We mentioned the 5 pitchers with double-digit wins, and it's an impressive combination of pitchers. Dickey looking for his 15th win of the season. Burley's won 13. Hutchison has 11, as has Happ and Stroman. And you could start the season next year with this 5-man rotation. I think you'd be fairly pleased.
Yeah, I think you'll have a good chance of winning a lot of ball games if they pitch the way they have this year. You know, last season we were wondering about the starters. I don't think you have to wonder about them now. And they also have some depth now with some of the young kids that have come up and impressed this season.
Drew Hutchison, we mentioned his 11 wins. This is his first full season, and Hutchison has done a terrific job. Marcus Stroman as well. But Hutchison is 8th in the American League in strikeouts. Daniel Norris got his first big league start out of the way. And now you just have to believe that he knows what it's all about, and he's going to have a little bit increased hunger to make the major leagues.
So they have some depth now, and they've got some reinforcements in AAA that if something happened in the major leagues that they could go right down there. Alex Anthopoulos was asked that in his press conference before the ball game today. Would you trade some of that depth? And he said, no, I want to hold on to it.
Bull foul. Yeah, it's very difficult to make a deal once you have an injury to a starter. You're not going to go out there. I mean, we saw the Yankees and how they had to patch from within when they lost 4 of their 5 starters early in the season. Oakland did the same thing, and they were able to pull off trades, but at a high cost. Oakland had to trade Cespedes and Addison Russell to shore up their starting staff.
Same with the Atlanta Braves this year when they lost a couple of Tommy John young players to that. Biggest thing for me last year, Los Angeles Dodgers, I think they had 8, maybe 9 starters going into spring training last year, and they got hurt.
Yeah, every one of them.
They were really struggling to find some pitchers last year.
Ryan Flaherty swings and misses. It's 2-2. Well, you saw Sanchez and Graveman down in the bullpen, and I think Graveman is going to be a starter, probably coming out of spring training. Start him in AAA. Keep him there as insurance. You know now that he throws strikes.
Yes. Yeah, get his innings in. Make him a starter. But eventually he looks like he might be a bullpen guy in the big leagues.
Ryan Flaherty upstairs. It's a full count. But I think the one thing you can't do is put a label on the guy too soon. Just let him pitch, and he will figure it out. Look at the improvement Stroman has shown this year as a starter. Adding that 2-seam fastball, and he is a totally different pitcher. Full count, 1 out. Pearce will dive back in.
Before he even got to the big league, before he even threw a professional pitch, they kept saying Marcus Stroman's going to be a reliever. Well, he's taken that and said, wait a minute, man, not so fast.
Pearce not running. Ball 4, second walk of the inning.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the all-new 2015 Honda Fit. Fit your lifestyle, fit your fun, fit whatever. And by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
This could be a July day, as nice as it is, but it is the last Sunday of September. Nick Hundley, the catcher, takes his strike. Dickey with 2 walks already. That's the most he has walked in his last 4 outings. Pulled foul.
He can make it all go away with a ground ball right here. It's a good opportunity to get that double play. Blue Jays have turned 129 double plays this year.
Oh, and 2. Cut on and miss. Hundley strikes out. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for R.A. Dickey.
His knuckleball is still moving all over the place. He has really had a good knuckleball since the All-Star break. He has won 7 games since then. That one dances right through the bat.
Well, that was a good illustration of how he grips that baseball just under the horseshoe. And there weren't many revolutions on its way to the plate. Jonathan Scope, young second baseman. It's a high pop down the left field line. It is the shortstop Reyes into foul territory. He gets there, and Pompey jumps out of the way. So the 2 walks don't factor in. Dickey is out of the inning. Dalton Pompey will start things off for the Jays in this scoreless game. Lead things off for the Blue Jays in their half of the second, and Pompey is 21 years old. Pompey, part of a young contingent of bright prospects. Pompey and Daniel Norris are both 21. Norris is a left-handed starter who made his first big league start on this homestand. Aaron Sanchez has been terrific out of the bullpen. Marcus Stroman's only 23. Drew Hutchison turned 24 in August. So when you look at these 5 players, you really have to be encouraged about the future of the Blue Jays.
It's a start. You know, we've been hearing some of these names for a couple of years now, and they've had success in the minor leagues, and now we got a chance to see them here in September. Some of them we went, wow, they're going to bring them up in September. Well, the Blue Jays have played them, and I think it's a good feeling for these young players as they head into the offseason saying, hey, I can play in the big leagues, and this is what I have to do to stay here.
Dalton Pompey takes one inside. I think it's huge that they're all up here together. They're basically in the same boat. They can feed off of one another, they can help one another, and they can encourage one another. And they are Blue Jays. That is the key.
That's the key right there, that they were scouted, drafted, signed, developed within their own organization. doing it their way. I asked Buck Showalter today his take on Dalton Pompey, and he had a lot of nice things to say about him. Athletic. Looks like he's going to be a pretty good player.
Little flare into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Pompey gets a leadoff single here in the second inning. Well, we go back and look at the season. The Blue Jays have won 83 games, and there's been some surprises. There have been some disappointments. Aaron Sanchez, part of the pleasant surprises of the young players. They've come up and they've held their own.
And then the improved rotation. Drew Hutchison, a big improvement from last year. He didn't pitch last year. So those are the two surprises, the young players and the improved rotation. Disappointments, we only got 6 starts out of Brandon Morrow. Love to have seen what he could have done over a full season. And then Brett Lawrie, no disappointment in Brett Lawrie, just the disappointment is he was only able to get into 70 ball games this year. We want to see more of him. And the theme around today, around the coaches today, was defense and what Brett Lawrie would have brought to this team defensively if he had played the whole season at third base.
Lawrie played 107 games in 2013. Dalton Pompey is picked off first. Pompey got a little antsy. And now they're going to take a look at the review. Kawasaki has stepped out of the box. Pompey reluctant to give up the bag at first. Now John Gibbons will come out.
Well, it looked like the Blue Jays had something on. 1-0, we have seen John Gibbons in the past use that count as a count to run and use the hit and run. It looked like Dalton took a step towards second base, like something was on, and by that time, it's a little bit too late. Watch him go. Oh, I got to get back. And he is tagged by Pierce.
Yeah, he was going. There's no question about it. Look where Pierce's glove went. It went right to the front of the bag, and the veteran tags out Pompey, so he gets a single and is picked up. Part of the learning process, it's a hit and run. You don't have to go on first move. Make sure he's going home. Breaking ball missed outside. It is 2-0. Munenori Kawasaki. Mooney has played a lot this year. This is his 82nd game of the season. He's had a total of 238 at bats.
And pitchers can't throw this guy a strike. They can't. He's 3-0 again. Miguel Gonzalez has excellent control.
Kawasaki played in 96 games a year ago, had 240 at bats, and he had significant playing time after Reyes sprained his ankle in Kansas City early on last year. This year, because of all the different ramifications around the infield, he's played even a few more games, and at bats, not so many games, but more at bats for sure.
Some starts at second base. He's been playing third base now when a right-hander is on the mound the last week or so.
Anthony Gose will be next. It's a full count. On the ground. Scope takes the short hop. 2 down.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the all-new 2015 Honda Fit. Fit your lifestyle. Fit your fun. Fit whatever.
The final day of the 2014 season, and there's still some uncertainty about the wild card. This ball is drilled, a line drive off the top of the wall. Gose is headed for second. Markakis has a strong arm, but it's late as Anthony Gose jumps on the first pitch and rips a double off the top of the wall and right.
Looked like some kind of off-speed pitch, maybe a cutter or a slider, and that really sped the bat up of Anthony Gose. He got that ball out there and he smokes it. Hitters know if they got all of it, but I think Anthony knew he didn't get all of that one, so he had to hustle into second base for an extra base hit. That ball was covered right there.
8th double of the season for Gose. Josh Tolley. with a chance to put the Jays on the board.
Anthony got this breaking ball in, and he hits it hard, and he knows I got to get out there because Nick Markakis is a good outfielder, and he's got a very strong, accurate arm, and hustles just underneath the tag for another base hit.
I think he needs a smaller helmet. 1-0. Tolley takes it outside. It's not 2-0. Josh Tolley, of course, he's the catcher for R.A. Dickey. These two were teamed up in New York with the Mets. Fouls it back.
You know, you watch the outfielders in these situations. Look at Adam Jones in center field. How shallow he is. He is anticipating the ball hit him. He knows he's got to be quick. He'll gamble that Tolley doesn't hit the ball over his head, but he wants to get in a little bit shallow to get a chance to get Ghost at the plate on a base hit.
That's really an interesting alignment for the defense. Adam Jones has taken the leadership role in the outfield, and they will give him general tendencies to play, but he says, I watch the hitter and I make the moves accordingly. And he'll look at Markakis and draw him over towards him from time to time. But he's almost in a straight line with the left fielder and the right fielder. You don't see that very often.
Usually he's a little bit deeper. Now he's in that line, and he's watching the bat. He's watching this battle between Tolley and Gonzalez, and he's reading the bat. Is he behind on the fastball? And that's why he's shading over towards left center field.
Number 9 hitter Brian Goins is on deck. There are 2 outs. Still no score. Tapper up the first base line. Gonzalez will throw to Pierce, and the inning is over. Blue Jays have stranded a pair of runners so far in this game. We'll go to the 3rd. That have a big role in the future of the Blue Jays, but you have to acknowledge the veterans too. And when you think of R.A. Dickey and Mark Buehrle over their 2 seasons, the contribution has been enormous to the consistency of the starting staff.
They are the leaders of that starting staff. You can count on them. That's the important thing. They'll make their starts. They will pitch their 200 innings every year. They'll keep you in games, and they'll give you a chance to win. I think every single time they take them out. Over the last 2 seasons, these 2 guys right there, these 2 fellas have been the leader of that starting rotation.
It's the first time since '98 the Blue Jays have had 2 200-inning pitchers in their rotation. They did it 3 consecutive years, 96, 97, and 98. But Dickey and Buehrle have provided big innings and quality innings. Markakis fouls it over the screen.
Yeah, you watch other teams and they bring in these fireballers, right? For the top of their rotation, and they either get hurt or they throw a billion pitches in a game and they just don't make their starts like the Blue Jays have had over the last couple of years from both R.A. Dickey and Mark Burley.
Dickey tried to get that fastball on the corner and just missed. 1-2 to the leadoff man here in the third. Markakis hit a double over the left fielder's head in his first at bat. I spoke to Burley before this ballgame today and congratulated him on a good season. And he said, well, we'll see if we're all back next year. And that's still a question mark. I think that's the biggest thing that players think about. You know, there's a lot of nostalgia, a lot of sadness. End of the season comes, and the offseason brings some unknowns. Mark Burley signed a contract with Florida Marlins, and he expected to be there for the rest of his career. And he was traded after 1 year. So you just never know how things are going to unfold.
Same with Jose Reyes. He signed a big free agent contract with the Marlins and was expected to be there. He was there just a year. You make your plans and you move your family there, or maybe you buy a place, and next thing you know, you're relocating.
The Yankees and Red Sox are wrapping up their season. Derek Jeter in his final game for his career is the DH this afternoon. It's over on Sportsnet 360 if you want to check it out. Alejandro De Aza. Yeah, nobody really knows what's going to happen, and Alex Anthopoulos, the VP of Baseball Operations, talked to the media today on the press conference, and he was asked a lot of questions about the future. Blue Jays continue to massage their roster. They have made roster changes today. They claimed Corey Burns off waivers from Tampa Bay, and they purchased the contract from Matt Haig from Buffalo, added him to the roster, and with that they had to place Melky Cabrera and Chad Jenkins on the 60-day DL. So there's still a lot of transactions going on, and this is the final day of the season.
I get the feeling there's going to be a big turnover this winter with the team.
Ground ball. Nice play by Kawasaki. What a terrific play. The defense continues to shine in September.
That would have been worthy of a Tabie right there. We talked about that in the pregame show, the great defensive plays. He was playing way off the line with Diaz at the plate. This is almost like Brett Laurie going to his left, dives, spins from his knees, throws a strike over to first base. What a play by Kawasaki.
For a moment, I had a Laurie flashback on that play. Kawasaki ranging to his left and throwing from his knees. 2 down. Adam Jones, you'd like to be swinging a bat hot when you're going into the postseason, but Jones comes into this game with a 171 average over his last 9 games, and Josh Tolley just took one on the chin.
Knuckleball from R.A. Dickey, and this one right straight back into that mask of Josh Tolley. That'll rattle your cage a little bit.
Jones with a big home run cut. Dickey took something off. That was just 68 miles an hour. A little bit extra. Forward is a strikeout. Couple of strikeouts so far for R.E. Dickey. The Orioles down in order in their half of the third. This is a fastball upstairs, and he blows it right by Jones. Every Sunday home game, the Blue Jays pay special tribute to Canadian forces. Today they salute Sub-Lieutenant Stephanie Maxim. She's been a maritime surface officer with the Royal Canadian Naval Reserve for 6 years. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud to support the brave men and women of Canadian forces who serve our country every day. Congratulations, Sub-Lieutenant Maxim. Mark Burley out to present her with the jersey. And we want to thank you for your great service, and what a way to start your Sunday afternoon. Ryan Goins will start things off here in the bottom half of the third. No score so far. They mentioned the Orioles. They're going to use 5 relief pitchers, according to Buck Showalter. He's got some guys that need to work here on this final regular season day. Goins fouls off the first pitch.
We will probably see their 5 top relievers: Tommy Hunter, Darren O'Day, Andrew Miller. We might see Zach Britton back-to-back days. They've got 3 days off before they start the playoffs.
There's a liner into center. Jones is right there, 1 down. The Orioles will have tomorrow off. They'll go to Baltimore tonight, take the off day completely tomorrow, and then they'll have a workout on Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll play the opener of the division series on Thursday.
Right now, that might be Detroit, but who knows what today holds for the wild card and the Central Division.
The Tigers got smoked by Minnesota yesterday. They're playing against today David Price against Kyle Gibson. They're in Comerica. Kansas City, they lost to the White Sox. That could have been interesting if Kansas City would have won yesterday, and then they flip-flop. So now Detroit, they have a game lead over the Royals. I think it may have been decided already. I think Kansas City will be the wild card even if they tie with the head-to-head.
Yeah, they're already in.
Ball is driven to left and deep. Neaza is back. Reyes is retired.
But they have a chance to tie Detroit for the Central Division. You have to look at the head-to-head between those 2 teams to see who would win that division.
I think Detroit has the head-to-head. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to stay the way it is right now. I think Detroit will play the Orioles. Kansas City will be the wild card. And Kansas City will play the Angels. Well, Kansas City will play in the wild card game first.
Well, that one's not decided yet, is it?
Nope.
Oakland and Seattle, they could tie after today.
They could tie today, and they would have to play off. Bautista, there's a sharp single through the left side. Seattle, they won last night in 11. They are a game behind Oakland for the second wild card spot. And they play the Angels. Corey Rasmus pitching for the Angels against Felix Hernandez. And I guess if you had to win a game, Felix Hernandez is the guy you want on the mound.
Set him out there. They had a big one last night, didn't they? A walk-off.
Really interesting game because the Angels were playing a 5-man infield and they hit into a double play, but Austin Jackson beat it out and they run scored. That was in the 11th. So Seattle still alive in the wild card. Encarnacion with a 2-0 count. Bautista with his 158th hit of the season. He's across the leaderboard in many of the important offensive categories. He is tied for 5th in home runs. He's tied for 7th in RBIs. 2-0 to Encarnacion. He tried to check and he went around, according to David Rackley at first. Encarnacion, he is 7th in the American League with 34 home runs, which is a tremendous accomplishment given the fact that he missed 33 games. Edwin is also 4th in the American League in slugging percentage. Gonzalez picked off the rookie Dalton Pompey in the second. A very quick move. Looked like the hit and run was on him. Pompey took one fatal step towards second.
Got picked off. Nowhere to go now. You got to let Edwin swing away right here. Bautista has shortened his lead.
Big cut. 2-2. Two and two. Bautista not running. This is a foul. The police officer gave the umpire the thumbs up. I'm okay. She couldn't get out of the way quick enough as that thing caromed off that wall, and now some of her buddies are giving it to her.
Hey, you're on TV. You need a glove?
Strike three call. Bautista caught looking at strike three. Now we've played three complete here at Rogers Center. Still no score. Dickey and Gonzalez. Freak Show takes place in a carnival in the 1950s and premieres on FX Canada Wednesday, October 8th at 10. Take note, not available on Bell. You can see the fans have their warm winter hats on here today as they were part of the giveaway on this fan appreciation weekend.
We got ours. I'm going to keep mine. It's going to make for a great hat when I shovel snow this winter. You don't have to worry about it.
It's a good looking hat. Yeah. I'm sure we'll find a good use for it. You never know. It might get down into the 60s in Florida. You know, some days on the golf course, you just got to have something to keep your ears warm. Nelson Cruz leading off the fourth for the Orioles. No score. Dickey has allowed just one hit. Blue Jays have 4 so far.
Cruz has always hit well against the Blue Jays. When he was with Texas, he would wear him out, and he's kept it going here with Baltimore in his first season. 16 games this year. He's hit in 14 of them.
This is a pop-up. Goins, the second baseman, behind the bat, makes the catch, and Cruz is retired. He's 0 for 2. Now Cruz has 3 homers, 14 RBIs in his 16 games coming into this game, and Dickey has him 0 for 2 so far. Steve Pearce walked to start the second. That's the slow floater that missed inside.
You know, when teams have the kind of season that the Baltimore Orioles have had, 95 wins, and the injuries that they've had, people have to step up. Other guys have got to step up into a prominent role, and the guy I think this year for the Baltimore Orioles is Steve Pearce. What a season he has put together.
The Orioles actually waived Pearce in April. They took him off the roster. He was available, and in fact Blue Jays put a claim in on him, and Pearce declined it. He wanted to stay a free agent. And then Chris Davis got hurt while he was designated for assignment. The Blue Jays reached out to him and called him and said, "Hey, we got a spot for you if you want to come back." And he jumped at the opportunity and made the most of it.
99 hits, 47 extra base hits of those 99 hits.
You know what? When you talk about a postseason team, there's always somebody like that that comes out of nowhere and comes up with a big year. Those role players, and he can play outfield, he can play first base. He allowed the Orioles to use Chris Davis at third base when Manny Machado went down. Dan Duquette, the GM of the Orioles, told me in Baltimore that you could consider him for the most valuable because of all the different roles he's served.
Does he even get a chance if those injuries don't happen? We'll never know.
On the ground, Reyes at short. Goins at second. He has a hesitation, but still has time to complete the double play. One of the few times we've seen Goins have a little trouble turning two, but he still has the arm strength to recover. There's the bobble, and he still gets Hardy to close out the inning. Blue Jays coaches, managers, and players came onto the field to acknowledge the great support they have received all year long from the home fans. They will draw just under 2.4 million fans for the season, and a terrific crowd here on hand. And all the players, coaches, and the managers out to acknowledge the support they get here all season long by the great fans at Rogers Center.
That's beautiful right here. Tip of the cap by the players to the fans. The fans showed up this year. I'll tell you what, they got into this team this season. And they have turned out again this afternoon.
And the Blue Jays organization thanking the fans once again. And we mentioned they will finish just under 2.4 million for the season. A lot of players will be here. A lot of players won't be. And you just never know what the team will look like when they head to Dunedin next February. Lynn fouls back the first pitch, and we too would like to thank our great crew who supports us all throughout the season. And we'll begin with Natasha and Amanda, who run the Pitch Effects, and so many fans express their pleasure with that Pitch Effects. Gives you an idea of what's going on with the pitcher. The production assistants, Luke Clare and Trevor Singer, I want to thank them. They help us out all season long. The bug operators are Greg Otterbein and Grace Iam. The video room, they handle all the great shots we get with the challenges of sunshine and clouds and shadows. Chris Mitchell, Victor Bruck, James Mead, and John Robitaille. Great replay room, and boy, do we have some replays from today's batting practice session. All of the technical staff on the field take BP today. The replay room headed up by Mike Sparks, Pat Denardis, Jeff Inchley, Andre Zeleny, and Glenn Robinson. We all thank you for all your great work all year long. Lind lines out to the first baseman, Pierce. That's the first out of the bottom half of the fourth. The videotape's such an important part of any sports broadcast, but we have a terrific videotape room that does an awful lot of great work for us. And they're all great fans. They're not such great athletes, as we found out a little earlier in the day. And, of course, all those guys in the truck do a terrific job. And we want to thank them all, Andre and Jeff and Pat and Sparky in the back row. And it's a terrific staff with a lot of fun. And it's going to be a lot of sore muscles tomorrow and a lot of aches and pains. We were out here for about a half an hour, and everybody got a chance to run around on the field and take BP. It was a terrific morning for us.
They were showing off their gloves right there. They didn't need them. Nobody hit the ball hard enough to use those gloves.
Dalton Pompey. He bounces the curveball. Pompey had a single his first time up and was picked off at first.
Now I'm going to get it. They're going to show me the wrong replay because I just nailed them. Zinged them. It's going to make me look bad. Sorry, guys.
Scoreless game at the bottom of the fourth. Oh, and 2. Fouled off. The camera crew is a terrific crew, and they have worked a long time together. We'd like to acknowledge all their great work. Martin Murphy. Murphy was the star today. He was doing everything, keeping everybody in order.
Without his shoes on. Barefoot today hitting.
Couldn't have a shoe contract, he said. He couldn't negotiate the proper deal. Pompey takes it downstairs. Terry McAlpine, a high home camera. He anointed him the MVP today. He said he was the best player on the field. So I'll leave that up to you cameramen to decide that. Teddy Parada, Tim Coughlin, Ryan Cooney, Todd Monroe, Stephanie Dunthorne, Paul Egg, and Mike Brown, all very good at what they do, and we appreciate their fine work all season long. All the camera people are terrific in what they do. The graphics, they're handled by Kevin Schnurr and Ron Harrison. And give us all the great numbers you see throughout the course of the game. There's Kevin at his position doing his great work. He and Scott Carson are in communication throughout the course of the game to give you the latest updates on all those graphics. Pompey drives it to right. Markakis turned and got right to the spot. Boy, that was a good piece of defense right there.
The all-new 2015 Honda Fit. Fit your lifestyle, fit your fun, fit whatever.
A piece of art capturing all the personality of this 2014 Blue Jays ball club. Munenori Kawasaki batting with 2 outs, goes after the first pitch and hits a souvenir into the seats. Came to the ballpark on the final day and got a baseball. Kawasaki lines it to center. Jones knows just exactly where to play him. 3 up, 3 down for Gonzalez. We've played 4. It's a scoreless game. Now time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Partnership. The final afternoon at Rogers Center. Baseball season coming to an end. There's still some intrigue in the American League as far as who's going to be the batting champ. Had an interesting development in Houston as Jose Altuve, leading the league with a .340 average, was not in the original lineup. And he went to the manager, Tom Lawless, the interim manager, and said, put me in the lineup. If I'm going to win a batting title, I want to win it on the field. Victor Martinez is second at .337. And if Altuve should go 0 for 4 for the afternoon, he would finish at .337.8. If Victor Martinez went 1 for 1, he would finish at .338.1. So that's quite an interesting batting title race.
Well, you know Victor is going to be in there the whole day. He's not going to come out after one at bat. He's going to be in there the whole day if Detroit tries to get into the playoffs. Hats off to Altuve, though. No backing into that batting title.
Reyes right behind the mound makes the catch, and that one hurt. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much. Of course, David Price is on the mound for the Tigers. Kansas City. They're in Chicago. Yordano Ventura against Bassett for the White Sox. So that's coming up a little bit later. They are just now warming up in Chicago. There's a deep drive to left off the bat of Hundley, and that ball is foul. Reyes playing up the middle. Watch his reaction after he catches this line drive.
Ow.
He got it in the pocket.
Yeah.
He didn't get it in the webbing.
Hey, it still hurts big leaguers when they don't catch it in that webbing. Reyes feeling that one.
Hundley hits another one to Reyes. Right on the money. 2 down.
I'll tell you, this time of the year, if you miss-hit a ball just a little bit, your thumb hurts, your fingers hurt, you miss-catch a ball like that, you don't get it right where you need to, that thing stings. He's still looking at his hand.
You get a bone bruise, and that'll go home with you for a couple of weeks. Jonathan Scope fouls one straight back. Ball on the strike to the Orioles' second baseman. R.A. Dickey trying to win his 15th of the season. This is his 34th start. David Price today also making his 34th start. Chris Tillman opened up this series, and then he's one of many tied with 34. That's a good knuckleball. That one, boy, had late movement, didn't it?
Boy, really shocked Josh Tolley. He reaches for it, then has to go get it. Down there, and he freezes, holds it right there.
It's a high fly ball deep to left field. Pompey at the track, at the wall. Home run for Jonathan Scope. His 16th homer has given the Orioles a 1-0 lead.
You know, he might have come into this ball game, Jonathan Scope, at 208, but he's got some pop in that bat. 16 home runs now, 45 RBIs for the second baseman. We'll put a charge into that 3-2 pitch from R.A. Dickey. Let's take a look at this pitch. Looks like he's challenging him with a fastball, and it's up, and Jonathan Scope knocks it out of the ballpark.
Scope with his first hit, it's a home run, and he drives in the first run of the game. He came into this game just one for his previous 17. Nick Markakis.
They are the best home run hitting team in baseball. Only team with 200 home runs in the American League.
Yeah, the Orioles have a unique combination of power and great pitching and defense. They are third in ERA, 3.45. Offensively, as you mentioned, that is their 211th home run of the season. That's first. But they are 11th in on-base percentage, 13th in walks.
You know what's interesting about that home run total? No Matt Wieters. He hit 20-something last year. No Chris Davis, who's having a down year, is not even in the lineup. No Manny Machado at third base. He's missed half the season with injuries, yet they still hit home runs. And they're getting them from everybody.
Big improvement, obviously, for Steve Pearce with his home run total. He had never hit more than 4. Pearce this year has 21. One nothing Baltimore. Full count on Nick Markakis. There's a fly ball to right. Bautista over quickly. He gets there and makes a nice running catch. Markakis denied another extra base hit by his opponent. Bautista going to the line makes a nice sliding catch to end the inning. Baltimore has taken a 1-0 lead on the Scope homer. Johnny Cueto for Cincinnati against Garrett Cole for the Buccos.
Johnny Cueto's had a big year. He'd be a Cy Young guy if not for that pitcher out in Los Angeles, Clayton Kershaw.
Kershaw might take home all the hardware. Cueto is 19-9, looking for his 20th win today. We got an ERA at 2.29. Yeah. He has had a Cy Young year for sure. Anthony Ghost doubled his first time up. We want to continue to acknowledge our great crew on the Sportsnet telecast. And the audio is headed up by Andrew Stokely. The audio assists Mike Hayes and Sean Matthew Jones. We want to thank you for all the great work you guys do in the audio department. Andrew, thanks for everything you do, and hit them straight, pal. But it is a terrific effort. Everybody has fun coming to work, and they make it easy on us. In the engineering department, it's Craig Mormon, Tyler Oberg, Will Morrison, and Joey Chan. We make sure everything is plugged in. And for a guy that can't get the flashing light off of his VCR, I really appreciate what you guys do.
The on button, right? Flashing like that.
Goes foul, tips it into the glove of the catcher. He strikes out. That's the second strikeout of the afternoon for Gonzalez.
Not a heavy strikeout type of pitcher, Miguel Gonzalez, but he makes pitches and he's got a wide assortment. This was just a good old country four-seam fastball right there that Anthony fouls into the catcher's glove. Second strikeout of the afternoon.
Big part of the TV show is the technical producer. He makes sure all the cameras are plugged in, all the electricity works, and we want to acknowledge them, Dave Schick and Brian Renwick. Technical directors, the guys that switch the shots called by the director, Dan Brenner and Joanna Brannigan. They will do a terrific job. They sit on the front row in that truck. There's a deep drive to right. Markakis back. He's on the edge of the warning track. Tolley making a bid for his first home run of the season. Falls just a little bit short.
Yes, Bolt right there by Tolley, just couldn't get it over his head.
The rest of the front row in that TV truck, the director, he's an important guy for baseball, and we have two of the best. Troy Clara does the majority of the work, and he's assisted by Jeff Mather, also director on our shows. We want to thank you guys for everything you do, make it a lot of fun. And there's Troy sitting in a big chair in the middle of the front row, and Brenner to his right is the technical director. There's a liner down the left field line. That's trouble. It bounces into fair ground and gets by Diaza. Goins is going to turn around second. He's headed for third. Here's the throw from Diaza. It's cut off and late. Goins with his third triple of the season. It comes with 2 outs here in the fifth. Diaza just couldn't cut it off before it snuck by him.
From a left-handed batter, that ball is slicing away. Watch when it hits the turf, how it just shoots over towards that corner. Diaza was trying to cut it off and hold him to a possible single, but his aggressiveness paid off for the Blue Jays as it gets by him, and Ryan goes all the way to third base. As that ball rolls around into the corner, by the time he runs it down, Goins is at third.
That triple for Goins, we mentioned his third triple of the season. Reyes with 2 outs.
You know, in a game like this, you're down by a run. Getting into scoring position is imperative. And when you hit a ball like this, you know you have a chance for 2. So you come out of that batter's box expecting to be at second. Then your play's right in front of you. You see it get by him, you make it all the way to third base, and now you can score on anything here. You can score on a pass ball, wild pitch, an error by one of the infielders. Obviously a base hit, but there's so many other ways that you could score from third base. Heads up base running right there by Ryan.
Ball and a strike to Reyes. Tying run just 90 feet away. Orioles have a 1-0 lead. Drilled to right, Markakis back and makes a fine running catch. Takes one away from Reyes. Saves a run for Gonzalez. It's a 1-0 Orioles lead. And fans, here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are TD Comfort Zone contest winners. Congratulations, and you've got a gorgeous day to wrap up the season. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from Holland Blueview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. Welcome to the ballpark, and we hope you're having a great day. Good to have you here at Rogers Center. Jays Care Community Clubhouse has been a treat for so many people all season long. We want to thank them for all their fine work. As we acknowledge the rest of our crew, of course, the producers are very important. They're the ones that come up with all the great ideas we have during the course of a game. Doug Walton is the lead producer. Rick Briggs-Jude also helps him out. He is with us all summer long as well. A couple of great producers that put their thoughts together for us. That's Shaky Walton doing a great job, and he has a lot of fun. And he is a passionate baseball fan and a great TV person.
How many hits did you get today, Jake?
And let me tell you, that was a terrific day we had all together on the field. Tim Leeper and Kevin Seitzer came out to help us out. Leeper threw batting practice to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for putting that together. Those guys fun. Really appreciate that. And you know, the one thing, I was talking to Seitz and Leeps before the game, or before that batting practice, and he couldn't believe how many people it took to put on a Blue Jays telecast.
Yeah, I think we had about 25 people on the field, and that's what it takes every single day. Jones hits one off the end of the bat. He continues to have problems with R.A. Dickey. Jones is now 0 for 3 against R.A. Tim Leeper, what a terrific soldier he was today. He threw batting practice to everybody, and there were some swings that kind of made him chuckle once in a while, so he was still able to focus and throw a lot of good strikes to us. But you know what? Baseball is such a great game, and everybody has had their experience on the field at some point, whether it's a family softball game or a baseball game in high school. Baseball is easy for everyone to relate to, and that's what we appreciate about being able to be here every single day. Also, we want to thank Scott Carson, our stats man, for another terrific season. Scotty does a great job helping us out every day, keeping me out of trouble most of the time. And that's a full-time job for sure. Cruz swings and misses, and our Terrific analyst, Joe Cecil, the first-time analyst with us. He has been a great addition to what we do, and that's inside the truck where everybody is hard at work, and that's the tape room there with all the different video operators, and Mike Sparks and Pat Donardis, a terrific tandem working side by side all year long. There's a liner to center. Ghost was deep and makes the catch. Quick inning for R.A. Dickey. Asked by Joe Girardi if he wanted to come out of the game, and after he got his infield hit, he walked off the field with 3,465 hits for his career. This is the manual scoreboard on the Green Monster at Fenway Park prior to the game, and you can see the message with respect to Derek Jeter. They captured it all with that message, and irony is that he ended his career in Boston, where he played so many high-impact games.
Fantastic stuff today as the career comes to an end. Ubaldo Jimenez will get the ball now, coming out of the bullpen for the third time this season. He's made 22 starts for the Baltimore Orioles. There are his numbers right there. Still a big strikeout pitcher, a good fastball, breaking ball, a little bit of a splitter. Now, he has his problems throwing strikes. He's had 77 walks this season. So he will come in out of the bullpen into this ball game to face the middle of the Blue Jay lineup.
Yeah, and don't be concerned about the pitching changes. You're going to see a few of them today. Buck Showalter gave us the heads up before the game. Hey, I got to get some of my guys ready for this postseason, and he's going to get them some work. So Gonzalez leaves after 5 innings. He's in line for the win. He's the pitcher of record. Jose Bautista takes one upstairs. Bautista has flied out and singled. Bouncing ball off the third baseman, Ryan Flaherty. Well, it's funny, not so much to Buck Showalter, but it's interesting. This is a very good defensive team. They've committed 5 errors in this series, and third base is a concern.
Yeah, it certainly is. They do 7 players down there. I think Flaherty could have laid back on that one. It got to him very quickly. Gets the in-between hop. And on an artificial surface on a Sunday afternoon, that ball is going to bounce up on him. It comes up on him, and he'll be charged with an error.
Of course, the Orioles are without their Gold Glove third baseman, Manny Machado, who has knocked out of the season. Bautista's on the move, and the throw from Hundley not in time. Bautista with a key stolen base. That's his 6th. And he has had an MVP caliber season, no question about it.
He's only been thrown out twice this season. This is on Ubaldo Jimenez. He's always been a guy with a high leg kick. You see a lot of moving parts in that windup from Jimenez, so Bautista takes advantage of it and swipes second.
Well, Bautista gets into scoring position first and foremost because they're down by a run, but also gives Edwin an opportunity to drive a run in. And Bautista, thinking about what it means to have 100 RBIs, he can appreciate Edwin's position. He is too shy of 100.
He tried moving Reyes in the first inning. If you saw his at bat trying to shoot the ball the other way to get that run over to third base with less than 2 outs for Encarnacion. Unfortunately, he hit a fly ball to right field and he could not advance, so he sits at 98 RBIs.
Trying to become just the third Blue Jay to have 3 consecutive. Carter has had 4. Delgado has had 6. Right on the corner. Showing just off the end of the bat. Edwin is also 1 home run shy of joining Delgado and Bautista as the only Jays in club history to have 3+ seasons of 35 or more home runs.
Jose's got his 35 this season. Edwin looking for his 35th.
So he can do everything with 1 swing of the bat.
That's right.
Hit a home run, drive in 2. And he strikes out. Well, now it's time to take a look at the Tabie Awards for outstanding defensive plays, and here are the award winners.
Yeah, we showed the defensive plays earlier. How about the overall award winners? In my mind, the most valuable player has to go to Jose Bautista. Everything he's done offensively and defensively. Most valuable pitcher, Mark Burley, was outstanding this season and came on strong. Top rookie's got to go to Marcus Stroman for what he has done to not even make the team out of spring training. And the comeback player of the year, Drew Hutchison, didn't pitch at all last year except in the month of September in the minor leagues. He comes in here and has a very solid season. So congratulations to all those players.
Good job, Tabie, and certainly all of those players worthy of receiving the Tabie Awards for their great contribution this season.
Your trophy's in the mail.
I thought you were going to at least take them to dinner or something like that. Catch them in the spring.
Yeah. The awards go out next March.
It is a 1-0 game here. The Orioles. The only run of the ball game came on a home run, 2-out homer by Jonathan Scope in the top of the 5th. We mentioned we were going to keep an eye on Jose Altuve and his battle to win the batting title. He has 2 hits today, so it's pretty much academic. Yeah. He's gone 2 for 3 already. He's up to 341 for the season, and he will be the first batting champ for the Houston Astros.
That's interesting, isn't it? All the great players that they have had in Houston, and he would be the first one.
And Victor Martinez has already gone 0 for 2, so it's pretty much settled that Altuve will be the American League batting champ this season.
He now has 225 hits and 69 multi-hit games this season. He'll get some MVP votes, I think.
Then fouls it off to stay alive. It's 0-2. They are underway in Kansas City, or in Chicago. Kansas City is taking a 1-0 lead. Detroit has a 1-0 lead at home against the Twins. Of course, the big games, Oakland and Seattle. Oakland at Texas, that's a 3:05 Eastern start. Seattle at home, that game starts at 4:10. They'll take on the Angels. Corey Rasmus, Colby's brother, against Felix Hernandez in that Seattle game.
You can see the Pigeons out there in center field with Adam Jones. He's had to fight the Pigeons now for a couple of innings. Please Right there. Okay, that's fine. Just get out of the way.
He said, that one's okay. You're all right over there. Jonesy eats a lot of sunflower seeds, too, and it's what the pigeons, they know all about that. Then strikes out, so after the air, Jimenez strikes out Encarnacion and Lynn. Adam Jones is quite a person now. He says, listen, I got some pepper sunflower seeds if you're interested.
Yeah, he crushes those sunflower seeds, so I think those guys are going to attach themselves to the center fielder now. You can see him standing in all the shells out there in center field.
Dalton Pompey is 1 for 2. Takes the first pitch strike. Of course, Pompey is seeing a lot of these pitches for the first time. Most of them. His first look at Ubaldo Jimenez. There's that good splitter that Jimenez throws so often and throws it so well.
Well, you get a lot of arms and legs and motion with Jimenez as a batter. You really have to concentrate on that release point and watch that baseball. He'll throw his glove at you, that front shoulder, the arm dips down, he hooks the ball behind him, and all of a sudden the ball's on top of you.
0-2. Jimenez strikes out the side. He gets Encarnacion, Linden, Pompey. But go to the 7th. It's a 1-0 game. Everybody in the truck doing another great job. Pitcher into the game is the rookie Kendall Graveman. He is making his 5th appearance, and Graveman has been impressive in his limited work so far.
Yeah, 5 games for Graveman, a good whip. He'll throw strikes. He has not walked a batter at the big league level. He's got a nice little sinker, 2-seam sinker that he's not afraid to throw to lefties or righties. He cut the ball a little bit. Low 90s fastball, but the important thing about him is the ball moves.
That one moves right into the zone as he jumps ahead of Steve Pearce. Graveman is 23 years old. He pitched at Mississippi State. Bouncing ball. Lynn comes after it and will go to the bag. Pearce is retired. Mississippi State is interesting because when Graveman was in Baltimore for the first time, Buck Showalter came over and said, "Hey, how you doing? I know who you are and know where you're from," because they both went to Mississippi State. So they were both Bulldogs, and Buck Showalter, he played for the great Ron Polk, who was there forever. Graveman played for Polk on the Cape Cod League. He had a season there playing for Polk. But Ron Polk at Mississippi State had 8 College World Series teams. And Buck Showalter played there. Showalter also played at Chipola Junior College where Bautista played. There's a liner to right. That ball is going to get past Bautista, go all the way to the wall. It didn't bounce the way Jose had hoped. It really died when it hit the bottom of that fence, and he was playing for the carom, and if he had gotten the bounce he expected, he might have had a shot at Hardy.
Yeah, probably would have held him to a single. J.J. Hardy going to right field the whole way on this at-bat. Sinker, and he slams it down the right field line. Watch where the ball hits and just sticks. And by that time, Bautista runs it down. It's an extra base hit.
Yeah, if that thing hits firm and comes back at Bautista, he was all ready to make a throw to second. So Ryan Flaherty will bat. He will hit into the shift. He goes after the first pitch and hits it deep to center. Goes back. Hardy goes back to second and tags. Here's the long throw from center. Flaherty is out on the fly ball to center. Hardy moves from second to third. Now there are 2 outs. Graveman got a chance to pitch in Baltimore, and according to Buck Showalter, after his outing, Adam Jones came back and said, "Who is this guy?" Jones tapped back to the mound on the sinker, and then Graveman struck out Cruz. He pitched just 2/3 of an inning.
I think he fouled one off of his shin guard too, didn't he? Threw a sinker right in on Jonesy, and Adam fouled it off of his foot.
Nick Hundley, the catcher, has gone 0 for 2. He just missed hitting a home run foul down the left field line. And then he came back and grounded out. Ball and strike to the catcher. Two outs. There's a good breaking ball off the plate outside. It's now 1-2. Graveman. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Lyon when we first brought Brandon Lyon up to the big leagues at the end of the 2001 season. He threw a lot of strikes and just kind of a very efficient pitcher. Bouncing ball, Kawasaki from third throws on the run, and the Orioles are done in there after the 7th. They leave a base runner on. Graveman has a good inning. Kawasaki will start things off when we come back. 2014 had a lot of high points, that's for sure. 45,901 in attendance in the final game of the season. That'll take the attendance to 2,375,525 for the year. New pitcher into the ball game for the Orioles is the big left-hander Andrew Miller, making his 73rd appearance between Boston and Baltimore.
This is one of the best acquisitions, I think, right at the trade deadline that we saw this season. The big left-hander. Look at all the strikeouts. He averages almost 15 per 9 innings. He got 102. Lester was a big pickup. Price was a big pickup, but this was a big one for their bullpen.
Steve Tallison pinch hitting for Munenori Kawasaki. Miller certainly stabilized the bullpen for the Orioles. Tallison has been a good role player for this ball club. He has done exactly what they hoped he would do. He's filled in around the infield. Tallison, his last 11 games, he's swung the bat well, 8 for 16. There he strikes out. That's 4 straight strikeouts for the Orioles pitchers.
The all-new 2015 Honda Fit. Fit your lifestyle, fit your fun, fit whatever.
Here we go.
Well, with Miller into the game, we're going to see another pinch hitter. It's Kevin Pillar batting for Anthony Gose. Pillar has hit .340 over his last 16 games. 16 for 47. He's made an impression, first and foremost, with his effort. Every day, whether it was early in the season when he had a call-up in May or here in September as the season's winding down, he brings the same effort every single day.
He had the impression his first time up here, if you remember that, he was pinch hit for. Dylan Betances came in for the Yankees. He was called back pinch hit. He was upset. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I'd rather have a batter come back being upset that he's being pinch hit for than a guy said, okay, no problem. But that was a bad impression, but he has come back up here. He has worked his tail off. He has played hard. He has done some things on the baseball diamond that suggests that he's got a chance to be a pretty good major leaguer.
Yeah, we saw him make a couple of sliding catches on that most recent road trip. He has had a bunt base hit in yesterday's game, stole a base, and just does a lot of things that make you think he could contribute. Here he gets jammed, and he's thrown out by J.J. Hardy, 2 down. We're going to see the 3rd consecutive pinch hitter now as John Mayberry Jr. will bat. Mayberry, he had a monumental home run, a very memorable home run against Tampa Bay. And as Buck Showalter, we mentioned he's going to make some pitching changes. He wants to give some guys some opportunities. Tommy Hunter, the big hard-throwing right-hander, will come in and face John Mayberry when we come back. 1-0 Orioles. the season as the Orioles closer. He gave up that role to Zach Britton, and he's become a very important part of their bullpen.
Oh, he throws hard. He comes out of that bullpen throwing gas. He's got a good fastball and a good curveball. He's only walked 12 batters all season long. A very good whip at 1-1. He can handle the righties and the lefties. And I like what Buck Showalter's doing here. He's treating this like a playoff game. You get a pinch hitter up there, I'm going to bring one of my relievers in the middle of the inning. He's done very good in first batter efficiency this season.
Tommy Hunter, you mentioned at 12 walks, it comes in just 16 to third. He's been very, very consistent with his ability to throw strikes for a power pitcher. Mayberry stays in to hit against the right-hander. Blue Jays have won the first 2 games of this series. They're trailing by a run. Well, that's a good fastball. This is the one thing the Orioles really have that encourages them about their chances in the postseason. They've got some big arms in their bullpen.
When you talk about Hunter and Mattis and Miller, Britton, you got a different kind of guy in O'Day. Hunter is well rested. It's been 4 days since he has worked, so he's got a good fastball.
Another secret weapon down there people don't really know a lot about is Brad Brock. He's got a good arm and a nasty breaking ball. He's going to have a significant role in this postseason. You can bet on that. One and two outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th. The Orioles have a 1-0 lead that's popped over the Orioles dugout. Hunter strikes out Mayberry, and as soon as he touches the artificial surface, he is out. A couple of strikeouts in the inning, but Cecil will come on and work the 8th. '15 Honda Fit. Fit your lifestyle, fit your fun, fit whatever.
Jonathan Scope got the count to 3-2, and R.A. Dickey threw him a fastball. And Scope, the second baseman, is going to hit this one over the fence in left field. It's his 16th home run of the season for Jonathan Scope, and the only run so far in this ball game. As the Orioles hit their 211th home run, it's our drive of the game.
Jonathan Scope will lead things off, and he'll face Brett Cecil just into the ball game. Cecil, his 66th appearance of the season. He had a little bit of a downturn mid-season, but boy, he bounced back as his arm strength came back and his curveball.
Yeah, and
he's really good.
He started using it. He started combining it with that good hard fastball when he gets the proper rest, and he has been lights out. He really has the last couple of months of the season. You can see that fastball threw that one right by Scope.
Tried to check his swing, and he did, according to David Rackley at first. Third ball. And a good one.
There it is right there. Got that spike curveball where he really digs that finger in with his left hand and then spins it off that middle finger.
We mentioned there are a lot of things to be decided. Looks as if Jose Altuve, with 2 hits in the game today, will win the batting title. Kansas City and Detroit, there's still a chance that will be a tie atop the AL Central. Cecil gets another strikeout. The Blue Jays, their final home game, and they have hit the 2,375,000 mark. They have a good crowd on hand, 45,901 today, and the Blue Jays want to thank the great fans for all their support. And Pat and I, too, want to thank you for all the great support all season long as you turn into Sportsnet and watch our telecast, and we hear from you all over the country.
You know, it is a pleasure. All the people that you named already today, Buck, all the production people, all the people that work for us. But on behalf of Buck and I, to the fans, we want to thank them for tuning in. We see them all the time. We see them around the hotels. We see them on the road, and they always come up to us and have some nice things to say. So thank you so much for letting us bring you Blue Jay baseball this season.
It's a real pleasure to see you all. That ball is going to bounce through the right side into right field. Markakis has his second hit of the afternoon. But you're right, and when fans come up to us when we're traveling around the country, they'll say, well, I met you last year in Cleveland. Sorry we don't recall every single one of you, but we remember your intent, and we're glad that you tune us in and take time in your busy day and early evenings to share some time at the ballpark with us.
I have to learn Canada just a little bit more because the people come up and what's the first thing they do? They tell us where they're from, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not real familiar with that part of Canada. So I'm going to go do my homework this winter and have an idea of where all these people are coming from.
We have had people from Cape Breton to Campbell River join us on the road, watch the Blue Jays. Certainly it's a pleasure to see you all, and we want to see you again next year. Alejandro De Azla, the left fielder's gone 0 for 3 so far today. A terrific way to wrap up the season. A 1-0 ball game here into the 8th. Good breaking ball. Kansas City and Detroit, they have a chance for a tie atop the AL Central. Kansas City wins, Detroit loses today. James Shield would start the playoff game against Justin Verlander. And it's important. You'd just as soon play in a 5-game series. You'd much rather play in a 5-game series than a one-and-done elimination game. 2-2, cut on and missed. 2 strikeouts for Cecil. Well, we're going to be done with our season, but the NHL is just cranking it up. So if you want to follow your team anywhere, check out Rogers NHL Game Center Live. Get live out-of-market regular season games on your phone, laptop, or tablet. Live stream over 1,000 games. Rogers NHL Game Center Live. Check it out. hockey season starts October 8th. So we're going to pass it over to some very competent broadcast teams, and they'll bring you all the hockey action all season long right here on Sportsnet. And don't forget, the playoffs are on Sportsnet as well, so you can see all the playoff games on Sportsnet. Sportsnet will have it all for you just 10 days from now. And it all begins, and that countdown clock will remind you of when that puck's going to drop for the first time. Some of our great friends in the broadcast booth back with Sportsnet. We're thrilled to have them back. Paul Romanuk, Jim Hewson, Craig Simpson, some of the great hockey analysts and play-by-play people on board with Sportsnet. So we want to wish them all the best for this season. Adam Jones is center fielder. He waves at that breaking ball. Jones is 0 for 4.
Such a nasty breaking ball right there. You know, I think the true sign of a good reliever, if you're a left-hander, if you can get right-handers out, and that's what Brett Cecil can do. He is actually holding right-handed batters to a lower batting average than left-handers. 75 strikeouts this year.
Cecil might throw his name in the hat when they get down to spring training as far as a potential closer. I have no problems with him. I think he can handle that. He has really found a home in the bullpen. Yes. He won 15 games as a starter. Jones rips it to left. That's his first hit of the afternoon. A couple of hits here in the 8th. But I think the starting days are over for Brett Cecil. I think he likes where he's pitching in the bullpen right now. I think he would welcome an increased role as a closer.
Sure. He's a all-star last year. Has not had a bad season this year. And I'll tell you, you always need those lefties coming out of that bullpen. And if you've got a left-hander who is a strikeout pitcher, something that Brett Cecil is, got to hold on to him.
Cecil's got a tough challenge here with Nelson Cruz. Cruz is 4 for 11 against Cecil with a couple of home runs. Cruz is the Major League home run leader this season. He's got 40 home runs. He is 3 ahead of Chris Carter of the Astros. Over in the National League, Giancarlo Stanton, who was knocked out of the lineup being hit in the face, he finishes up with 37 home runs. He'll win the home run crown in the National League. There is a battle for the batting crown in the National League as well. Justin Morneau, the Canadian, starting play today at 319. Josh Harrison of the Pirates at 318. 2-2, 2 outs. Fouled outside of first. Harrison is 0 for 3 so far in the game today. He drops down to 360. Colorado plays later on in LA. So now, as we speak, Harrison has dropped 3 points behind Justin Morneau.
Do you sit out and win your batting title? I can't see that from Justin Morneau.
Well, the all-time great decision on a final day, Ted Williams, going into the game, hitting 400, and asked him if he wanted to play. What do you mean if I want to play? I play every day.
And that's when they played doubleheaders on Sundays.
They played a doubleheader on Sunday, the final day of the season, hit 406. Congratulations to Morneau. No matter what happens, he's had a terrific season in Colorado. 2-2 pitch popped in the air. Shallow center. Pompey coming in. Cruz is retired. The Orioles strand the pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Baltimore has a 1-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. He is into the ball game, his 68th appearance of the season. He is 5-2 as the parade out of the bullpen continues. He is the 4th reliever to work for Buck Showalter. Sportsnet.ca's MLB insiders cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays, and today Ben Nicholson-Smith takes a look at the press conference that Alex Anthopoulos had earlier, and during that conference, Anthopoulos said Blue Jays aim to retain Melky Cabrera, who's a free agent after this season. That and much, much more, all in the article at Sportsnet.ca, so make sure you check out Ben Nicholson-Smith and his article talking about what's going on with Blue Jays. Lots to be decided before this next spring training, that is for sure. The Blue Jays have the 15th best record in baseball, truly middle of the pack, and there's a lot of work to be done.
That's the biggest step, I think, when you go from a loser and then you get into the middle of the pack. That's the easy part. That next step, that last step to get into the elite company, I think, of baseball, that's the one where everything's got to come together and you have to make those good decisions, and there's a lot of them that have to be made this offseason.
Ryan Goins had a triple his last time up, came in the 5th inning. O'Day, he too is going to be a very important part of this bullpen going into the postseason.
He will pitch at the back end of the bullpen. He's not the closer, but he's in the back end. And what Buck Showalter will do is he will find matchups that work for him to get O'Day work. You can see how nasty he can be from down under like that. He sinks the ball, and he's got a little slider.
Two and 0. Two and 1. Goins leading off the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays are down by a run. He'll be followed by Reyes and Bautista. That got the umpire flush. Jeff Gosney set up in that slot. That breaking ball was fouled off and really hit him hard.
Yeah, you could hear it all the way up here. Foul tip. It looked like it went off the catcher and then right off the umpire right behind him. And catcher will go out and talk to the pitcher just a little bit here to buy a little time to get him a chance to catch his breath.
He's okay, and everybody is giving him ample time to regroup. There's an interesting development going on in Washington. Jordan Zimmerman is throwing a no-hitter. 7 innings, he has struck out 9. That's interesting in itself. But what's really interesting is Henderson Alvarez is his mound opponent, and he threw a no-hitter last year on the last day of the season. Baseball is full of ironies.
It's only 1-0 too in that game. So what do you do? What do you do if you're the manager?
And you got the playoffs coming up. Matt Williams is the first-year manager in Washington. Of course, had a terrific season in 95 and 66. And Zimmerman, you got to keep fresh for the postseason, but he's only thrown 80 pitches, so he's really not been taxed. Full count to Ryan Goins. Just foul outside of first. Well, the fans are having a good time here today. It is the final game of the season. 45,901 in attendance to wrap up the season. And the fans have really come out to support this ball club. I think they're encouraged about the youthfulness of the young starters, the glimpse they have gotten of the homegrown Dalton Pompey. Popped up left side of the infield. Hardy, the shortstop, going back. He stays with it and makes the catch.
Well, this team was in first place. They were 14 games over 500 in June. They're looking for that showdown with Baltimore the last time. I believe it was in August for a chance to take the division, and they had a bad right around the All-Star break in July and then a bad August, and that really just took them out of it. But the fans, they have something to look forward to. It's a good team with a lot of good young players that we have seen now in the month of September.
Reyes fouls it back. The Blue Jays were in first 48 days. Last day they were in first place was July 3rd. And if memory serves, that's when Encarnacion got hurt out in Oakland.
That's right. And it was that road trip, 2-8 road trip to the West Coast of Tampa, that really took a shot to the Blue Jays' chances.
They were 6 games ahead of the division on June 6th. They were also a season high 14 games over 500 on June 6th. When you break it all down, they finish over 500, which is a step in the right direction. 1-1 to Reyes. Popped in the air on the right side. Pierce, the first baseman, into foul territory. 2 down. Well, we got an interesting matchup now. It's a 1-0 game. Darren O'Day is a nasty right-hander. And when you look at what he has done over the career, it's pretty impressive. Bautista has 4 hits against O'Day. 3 of them have been home runs. So this is the beauty of baseball. The head-to-head matchup in a 1-0 game.
Righty's hitting 166 this year against Darren O'Day, but Bautista keeps that front shoulder in. He is not intimidated by O'Day dropping down the way he does and throwing that sidearm underhand pitch. He stays right on that ball.
Of course, O'Day is going to pitch as if this was a playoff game, and he's got to get out a tough righty, and he's got one of the toughest. Oh, tough call. Bautista didn't think so. He had a good look at it. Might have been off the plate outside, but it's a ball and a strike. They're liable just to stay down and away. Sliding ball right at the knees.
They've got 3 infielders on the left side. I think what the Orioles are thinking is Bautista's going to try and pull the ball here. Try and pull the ball out of the ballpark, looking for a home run. So they've got the infielders on the left side. O'Day is a ground ball type of pitcher with that movement. If he keeps the ball down low, he'll get the ground ball.
There's the ground ball pulled to third. Flaherty across the diamond in time. O'Day retires the side in order. He got through a tough hitter in Bautista. Casey Janssen, maybe his last appearance in a Blue Jays uniform. The top of the ninth here at Rogers Center, the final game of the 2014 season. The Orioles have a 1-0 lead. And Pat, we look back over the course of this season, and as you head into the postseason, there are some questions to be answered. In your mind, what's the most important thing the Blue Jays have to address?
Well, I think they're free agents, number one. I think they have to make a decision on their free agents, and if those free agents leave, Melky Cabrera, Casey Janssen, Colby Rasmus in the outfield, Brandon Morrow. The question is, who's going to replace all of these guys? Do you have the people in-house to replace them, or do you have to go outside and maybe make a trade as Casey Janssen comes in to possibly get his final work with the Blue Jays? Do you have to go outside and maybe make a trade or try and sign a free agent? I think those are the big questions. How about you?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they have to, first of all, decide what they're going to do with their own players. You're going to make judgments, and Janssen is a free agent, and I believe he's going to test the market. He spent 11 years in the organization. His first season was 2004. He opened up in the New York Penn League with the Auburn Ball Club, and he was a draft choice of the Blue Jays, spending his entire career. And you can bet Casey Janssen is going to have some bittersweet thoughts after this game. You always hate to leave your first organization.
Certainly. I was talking to him the other day and said the last day is going to be pretty crazy. And, you know, last ball game's over and everybody scatters. But I just wanted to thank him for the time that he spent here. And we were talking about the free agency. And it's an exciting time, yet a very scary time for a ball player, because you're just not sure where you're going to land. I mean, he could end up back here.
He is 33 years old. He has 8 years of major league service. He has earned the right to test the market. No question about that. And he's had a good career.
And he's excited about that.
Yeah.
He wants to see what it's like out there.
This is popped up. Third baseman Tonnison makes the call. He makes the pitch to them. Casey Jansen's also getting married in the offseason, and that's another big moment in his life, and certainly we want to wish him the best in that. And he's going to end up on his feet. There's no question about it.
Yeah, he is a pro, a real pro.
But as far as the Blue Jays, I think they're going to have a lot of things. They've got to be brutally honest with themselves and make some tough decisions. Let some players go, change the personality a bit. And it's going to be a busy off season. This is a typical Casey Jansen inning, fitting if it is indeed his final as a Blue Jay. A 1-2-3 inning. Didn't take him much at all. He has a 1-2-3 inning, and then he walks off the field and acknowledges the crowd.
Does it remind you of anybody?
Jimmy Key. Casey knows this might be it, and what a way to finish. You can bet there's a lump in his throat right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, he realizes and recognizes that the fans stood. They were giving him a standing ovation coming off the field, and he recognized that and waved to the crowd.
The closer, Zach Britton, into the ball game. Man, what a season he has had. 36 saves. Look at what the opposing hitters are hitting. 180 and 170. He doesn't give up anything.
Yeah, for a combined average of 175, he doesn't walk anybody. Just 23 walks this year, 36 for 40 in saves. He pitched in yesterday's game and just had a walk to Valencia and retired the other batters. He's got a bowling ball type of fastball. He goes straight down, gets a lot of ground ball outs with it.
Edwin Encarnacion will finish the season unless the Blue Jays can tie it up too shy. And he hits a home run, he'll have 99. Edwin missed 34 games, and he still put up tremendous numbers. He has gone 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, he's battled the quad problem. He had the quad strain in July, but lately, the last couple of weeks, he's had the bad back. It's been bothering just a little bit, so he hasn't been able to get full extension at times.
Adam Jones's friends have come into the infield. Beautiful 1-0 game. Only 5 hits for each team. There have been more 1-0 games this season than any season going back to 1976. 65 1-0 games. R.E. Dickey, a very good start. He ends up on the wrong side of a 1-0 game so far. There's a base hit for Encarnacion. The leadoff man's aboard in this 1-0 game. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Jamie, that's great. And we talk about the fact that the opposing pitcher for the Marlins is Anderson Alvarez, who threw a no-hitter last season on the final day of the year. Encarnacion, that's a nice round of applause for his final AB of the season, and he gets a base hit in his final at bat. A terrific season. Pinch runner at first is Juan Francisco. Danny Valencia batting for Adam Lind. Play by Pierce. A liner that the first baseman grabbed, and while he was grabbing it, he turned his body and puts the tag on Francisco. Wow, what a play.
Told you this team can play some defense, and even without their number one guys out there, they're still making it happen. Valencia thinks he has extra bases, possibly tying the score. But Pierce comes off the bag, grabs it, and in one motion tags the runner for a nifty double play.
We want to remind you right after this game, it's more Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. They'll have a lot to talk about after this game, and they'll be joined by Jeff Blair and Shai Davidi coming up right after this ball game. Dalton Pompey falls behind 0-1. Now it's 0-2.
Boy, that ball is moving for Zach Britton. Got to really track that thing here.
Britton is fourth in the American League in saves. Now he has 37. That's the ball game. Zach Britton in a final tune-up before the playoffs picks up his 37th save with the strikeout.
Been a heck of a season for the Blue Jays. They had a lot of question marks going into spring training. Who was going to be the 4th, 5th starter? They got that ironed out. They got off to a good start. They're actually leading the division, and then a bad August. But it's been a heck of a season. We've got some memorable things that we saw this year. Great defensive plays. People had big seasons. We've got some youngsters coming back, and it should be a fun offseason for the Blue Jays.
It sure will be, and certainly there are some people that are walking off the field, possibly for a final time with the Blue Jays. We saw Casey Jansen Bautista giving the fans his cap from the final game. A lot of great memories for the season. Sure, there's some disappointments, but I think overall there are a lot more positives than negatives.
There certainly are, and I think in September we saw a lot of the positives with the young kids coming up. Daniel Norris, Aaron Sanchez, Marcus Stroman, Dalton Pompey, some of the other younger players that came up here and looked like they belong, which is always important. So the Blue Jays have something to look forward to.
Well, they sure do. And we want to thank all you fans once again. It's been a great season. We'll see you next year. Stay tuned. Blue Jays Central. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.